Here they are, our starting lineups brought to you by Northside Insurance with locations in Centerville and Bloomfield. Call Amy or Sandy in Centerville or Lisa and Lynn in Bloomfield. There's how Coach Troy Pearson will line them up for tonight. We've highlighted for you Carson Utermark, Jr. for this Knoxville team, who on the season, he's the sharpshooter in particular from the outside. A lot of guys can stroke it from the perimeter. He's hit 50 of them. And on the year, when Carson hits 3 or more threes, Knoxville is 8-0. There's a stat for you. Now over on the Pella side, here is how head coach Derek Schulte will put his Dutch out there to open things up. We've got Cam Schulte highlighted for you here, a 6'3" senior forward who leads his squad in rebounding at just shy of 8 per game. That's going to be a tough matchup without, obviously, Caden Smith being able to be out there for Knoxville against Schulte and the other front court member, Luke Keichus of the Pella Dutch. So we'll see how they're able to adapt to that. Does the size cause problems for Knoxville, as it has a little bit down the stretch here against some of this increased level of competition down the stretch of the regular season, or will they be able to overcome it with their shooting and overall athleticism? In the circle, it will be Higginbotham and Schulte. Our official gives the whistle ready for play. The ball is up. We are underway in the 3A7 first round matchup presented tonight by the Knoxville Panther Booster Club. Knoxville comes out in zone. Hugan, right side Van Howen. They work it inside into the baseline there for Keichus. An open 3 top of the key falls off from Van Howen. The rebound to perhaps the shortest guy on the player, without a doubt, or on the field, Jay Keller. Kiefer finds Norris between the circles. Landon, who's had an outstanding sophomore campaign, lost it. Tried to go a little pick and roll that time with Kobe Higginbotham, and it just wasn't quite there. The first turnover of the game on the first possession. Keichus is going to try a deep 3 from the left wing, and he hits the bottom. Well, against the zone, they beg you to shoot it from out there. And Keichus was not afraid to do so. His 19th make of the year. He's 31% from behind the arc this year. Keller on the drive finds Higginbotham, puts it up, and that one falls off. Rebound for Cam Schulte. Had a good look. Kobe just couldn't get it to fall. Now on the other end, number 5, Treto. They work it around the arc to Hugan here. Roman Hugan back up to again, Van Howen here, back to Treto, who led this team in scoring with 13 against Mount Pleasant this past Tuesday evening, about 6 days ago. An overtime win against the Panthers, a 17-5 group as well. Out goes number 2, Keichus, first substitution of the ball game. 23, Cameron Rowe comes in. He had a nice game against Mount Pleasant off the bench with 3 points and 5 boards, 4 of which came on the offensive glass. So you better put a body on 23. Norris almost tips away a pass here, but saved by Hugan on the drive. It's Treto who finds cutting inside number 20, Schulte, but his shot partially deflected. Higginbotham gets the rebound. Kiefer, oh, nice crossover, right-hander off the window, doesn't fall. The Knoxville fans wanted a goaltending with the backboard getting hit by Schulte, but the foul or the call did not come. Hugan cleared the glass. If that ball was on the backboard when Schulte hit it, that should have been a goaltending call. It's tough to say from our vantage point here. A foul on the other end. Norris is going to pick up his first. Had 22 the other night to pace the Panthers against Bondurant Farrar. Hugan right side for Van Howen, back again to Treto. We've played 2 minutes. It's a 3-0 ball game in favor of the Dutch here in the early going. So glad to have you along with us here on Go SEC TV. We love hearing from you too. We pride ourselves on being able to provide an interactive broadcast. As inside, a foul will go against Noah Kiefer, with Hugan causing some disruption on the defense with his drive. That's going to put Cam Schulte at the free throw line for a pair, as Kiefer tabbed with his first personal, second team foul. And Schulte, who's a 56% foul shooter, will step to the stripe. But to complete that, we love hearing from you. We love shouting you out. If you can't be in the gym, I see a lot of black and gold here that have made the trip from Knoxville. Just a short drive from the middle here of Marion County to the northeast quadrant in Pella. But cheer on the Panthers from afar or wherever you might be watching tonight. We'd love to hear where you are joining us. That's a lane violation on Knoxville, but it doesn't matter as Schulte knocks them both in. It's a 5-0 start for the Dutch. And they roll out some three-quarter court pressure and a steal. Schulte able to just get his paw on that one. Hugan on the other end finishes all alone under the basket. And it's a 7-0 start to the game for the Dutch. 5.5 to go first quarter. Norris working against this pressure. Gets it ahead to Keller. Jay Stops on the left wing, back to Landon. He's guarded by Hugan. Landon tracks down the loose ball near half court. He'll not use the screen from Higginbotham, and Hugan gets called for a reach-in here on the drive from Norris. His first personal, first team foul on Pella, stopping the clock with 5:23 to go. Matt Heston's already hopped on in. Let's go, Panthers. The dam belongs to us, he says. As Keller inside Higginbotham, right of the lane. Over the left side, his hook almost went. Man, that would have been a heck of a shot, but it falls off the front, and Schulte gets the board. Treto back the other way, finds Hugan, who's going to pull the trigger on a three. That's off the mark, but there's Schulte for another rebound, his third. Off the window, left it short. Higginbotham clears it from there. Rebounding so important tonight, too, as it always is, typically in the game of basketball. But when you look at Pella and Knoxville to a point, too, as Norris had his dribble actually tipped, but it ended up with Higginbotham. Now Utermark in the corner, back over to Jay Keller. Pella averages 35 rebounds per game in their wins. That number drops to 25 per in their 9 losses. Extra pass, Hugan's got a good look. Doesn't get it to fall, though. Rebound for Rowe. There's one of those offensive rebounds. That's something, too. The Dutch have 13 offensive boards in their wins on average, 6 in their losses. And as I say that, Jack Bertrand for Knoxville is getting ready to check in at the scorer's table. Want to get a little bit more height out there. Treto for three, yes. And the run continues for Pella out of the gate. 10-0 start as we approach the halfway point of the first quarter. Keller, he beat his man off the dribble, and Jay banked it in. Caught him on his heels, took it to the rack, and Troy Pearson, now that his Panthers get on the board, will use a timeout. A 30-second one. We'll keep it here with the first stoppage in play, just shy of the halfway point here. 4:03 to go in the first quarter. Also had Emily Landis thank the Knoxville Panther Booster Club, as she should. Thank you, Emily, for that in the comment section there. We wouldn't be able to cover this game without the help of the Knoxville Panther Booster Club. They have footed the bill that is charged to us by the state to cover these postseason games as we do. So very big thank you to the Knoxville Panther Booster Club. Gil Oker is watching with us tonight, and Robert Pelong is cheering on the Panthers from Reidsville, North Carolina tonight. Thank you, Robert, for hopping in too. Again, we love hearing from you. Hear all the time from our players and coaches when they go back and watch our broadcasts that they really enjoy hearing from their family and friends that can't be in the gym but are cheering them on from afar with us here on Go SEC TV. 3 new Panthers in the game. I mentioned Bertrand was waiting to check in. Also Connor Willis, number 13, and number 10, Gabe Clark, who I think is someone to really keep an eye on here for Knoxville. We'll talk more about that as we go. Treto finds Van Houen. Now right wing for Rowe, who drives, leaves it back for Schulte on the baseline, guarded there by Norris. Now Van Houen drives, kicks, open three, and hitting it is Van Houen on that pass from Treto. The third made three of the quarter, and a 13-2 advantage for the Dutch with 3.5 to go opening frame. Bertrand posting up on Schulte, trying to back his way in. Right-hander goes. Good start for Jack from the field. Jerry Utermark's watching from sunny Arizona and cheering on the Panthers. Here, other end, Schulte all the way to the rack. Gets another bucket to his total now. He's up here to 4 in the first quarter. The lead back to 11 at 15-4. Norris, a spin move to get right of the lane. Puts it up, got fouled, banked it in. That's an and one for Landon Norris. Good take into the lane, drawing the contact and able to finish as Braden Treto picks up his first personal, second team foul. And Norris, a 66% free throw shooter on the season, will try to complete the old-fashioned three, but he can't. Rebound tipped out, and Willis tipped it to the backcourt. That's over and back. And Norris taps his jersey, saying, that's my bad. He realized he should have stepped back across that half-court line and would have been able to steal a second possession that time down. Devin Duncan, thanks to Knoxville Boosters. Whitney Plain McWilliams, Panther Nation, baby, and Kelsey Chambers with a Go Panthers. Here on the drive in, Hewen finds Hugan, kick out Treto. Little man-to-man now. Look here, left side, or right side rather. Schulte baseline, can't finish over Bertrand, and Norris grabs the board. One and done for the Dutch. 9-point game, 15-6. Norris goes back to that spin move in the lane, puts it up short, pulled the string on it. Rebound is for Van Heuen. Now Treto looking to press the issue the other way and banked it in through the contact of Norris. 5 points for Braden Treto. 17-6, Dutch, 2:15 remaining in the first quarter as Keller loses it. The third Knoxville turnover. Pella will bring in 13 Tyson Barnes to replace Schulte. And Keller will get a breather for the moment for Knoxville as Noah Kiefer returns to the court. 2:11 to go, first quarter. Keep up with the score and the time as accurate as we can get it for you here courtside without being linked directly to the game clock. Thanks to our Sundance Realty Score Bug, brought to you by Sundance Realty, located at 112 East Robinson Street in Knoxville. Hugin's jumpers off the mark. Bertrand got a rebound that caromed off to him. Clark, he's going to fire away. Air ball. Hugin with the closeout. Got in his peripheral version. The Knoxville coaching staff wanted a tip perhaps from Hugin. But it will be Pella basketball. And Clark, I said that was something we would discuss later with him on the floor. He, against Bondurant Farrar, albeit in a losing effort last time on the floor for the Panthers, had 8 points, was 3 for 3 from the floor, 2 of 2 from downtown. And we've all kind of been waiting on Gabe to be able here his sophomore season to pick up kind of where he left off as a freshman last year when he shot 55 three-pointers, well, made 55 three-pointers a year ago. Three on the other end from Hugin, by the way, has pushed this lead to 14, and Clark's going to pick up a travel violation for the fourth Panther turnover. Colin Kurnt checks in for Pella to replace Braden Treto, and the Dutch have a lot of that depth that the Panthers had a luxury of back early on in the year before some of those injuries and sickness kind of has hampered those numbers for Coach Pearson. But it was fun to watch early on in the season when they were on that big run and having so much success out there with being able to roll guys out and keep the pressure on, force turnovers, get in transition. That's when this Knoxville team is at their best, where they can get in transition. But thus far tonight here in the first 7 minutes of action, they have been unable to do so. And the Dutch have built a 14-point lead. Rowe dribbles into some traffic, finds Hugin right side on the drive. That is 14 Kurnt, back right corner three, off the mark, off the top of the backboard from Barnes. Skying in for the board is Kurnt. Another three opportunity, and Kaichis drops it in. And right now, Pella just can't miss. 23-6, 37 seconds to go, first quarter. Udemark. I'm sorry, that's Norris, and a foul. Landon had an air ball, but I think it's because he got bumped by Colin Kurnt, as that is the whistle. Must have come on the follow-through from Norris. Kurnt's third personal, and Norris will go back to the free throw line for the second time tonight. He missed an and one opportunity back earlier this quarter. Now has a chance to knock in a few to cut into this Dutch lead. And he hits the first, 23-7, with just under 33 seconds to go in our opening frame. They get 2 for 2 here for Norris. We see Keller and Higginbotham check back in here for Knoxville as Bertrand and Willis will sit for the final 30 seconds of this opening quarter. And Trey White is waiting to check in for Landon Norris if Norris can make his third here. And he does. He makes the Dutch pay with the foul on the three-pointer. Out for Pella goes 23 Cameron Rowe, replaced by Braden Treto, who's back in the game. 23-9, and the shot clock is off. It looks like Treto will hold for the final shot of the quarter for Pella. Keller checking him defensively. Off the Kaichis, back to Treto. 5 made threes here in the first quarter for the Dutch. Treto with 8. Gets it into Kaichis, who takes it all the way to the rack. Came open, gave him a little screen, and Treto just found him curling to the basket. A half-court heave that's off the back iron. Noah Kiefer almost got it to fall, but harmlessly it drops to the deck, and Knoxville will have themselves a hole to dig out of after the opening 8 minutes. Dutch 25, Panthers 9. Second quarter coming up on Go SEC TV.